welcome everybody. The wonderful thing about my job is that I get to meet interesting people. People that are trying to change the world. People that are positive, that give us hope. And I want to just thank Heidi and her colleagues at the Foundation for Genocide Education. They've been working hard in the trenches here in Quebec, doing work across Canada, and they've done something positive. So congratulations, Heidi. Yeah, let's everyone give a hand to Heidi and her team. And I would end that and say the late Nelson Mandela once said, the most powerful tool we have to change the world is education. So I think what Heidi and her team is doing is of the utmost importance. And we need to see this replicated globally. So Heidi is an example of hope. But before we get into our discussion, I'd like you to maybe tell us a bit about hope. You mentioned to me, you didn't want to go right in the discussion, but hope drives you in your work. Can you tell us, like, what messages of hope do you have for the people in this crowd tonight?
Shalom, salam alaikum jami'an. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having me first. Thanks, Carl, for the opportunity. And would like to thank Heidi for inviting me, and would like to thank everyone here from the Genocide Foundation of the Genocide, for making this event happen, the sponsors, the board members, and the team, and everyone was there. So usually when I go speak, I speak about the Abrahamic Accord, I could speak about the peace, all of that lately. But there always I face like certain levels of skepticism about it. But before we start the conversation, thank you for allowing me. I would like to talk about certain examples, certain things are happening in the country there in the region that really shows that there is a hope. There really shows that we are committed for it and going forward. Like for example, when the phone call happened between the three leaders, between President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and then we have our Sheikh, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. When the phone call happened between three of them, the next day I have people calling me. They're asking me, Ahmed, we want to go to Israel because they know my relationship with Israel and the Jewish people there. And then I said, I don't know, because it's just a phone call. There's no agreement yet. They say they're gonna make it. So I start, calling the government. I asked, people, the foreign ministry. I said, what's the situation? People want to go to Israel. Do you have a problem with that? They said, no. People to people can do anything. We as government, we have to establish our, diplomatic relationship. I mean, there's a procedure, paperwork that. But you guys are free. So that was the biggest sign about the commitment.
You're excellent. Pardon, but some people are having trouble hearing in the back.
Me? Okay.
So if you could hold a bit closer, that'd be wonderful.
All right. Do I have to repeat or just?
No, you can continue from when you are.
All right, yeah.
Please.
So what I'm saying, about the commitment to the peace is for us, very strategic, decision we took there. As to take such decisions is very important. So this example I wanted to share with you guys about this example, and also about I'm very happy that you put the prayer there when I was praying, because it's not just me. We are praying, and the Jewish people we are praying, and also the Christians. What happened also in August before the peace? The group of rabbis came from the United States and Israel. They said, it was a sunset at that time when they arrived. They said, we have to pray. I said, also have to pray. And then, all of us prayed together. So the Jews prayed their prayers, the Christians prayed their prayers. They were with us from Germany, and also we prayed there. So it was very beautiful, and I'm very happy that you put that, because I was looking for that photo, I couldn't find it, but thanks for putting it there. And then we have many other examples. The Holocaust commemoration. I would like to thank Canada, through Her Excellency Marcy Gosman. She's the first person, the first ambassador, the first country who stood next to me to commemorate the Holocaust, to open the Holocaust gallery there in the museum. So you as Canadian, you were with us from beginning, and then the first time, and every event you were there. Also, we have so many other stories of the hope. The conferences that we made about the bridging. So the idea is we are very committed. We are moving forward regardless. For us, it's a strategic decision, and we're gonna move forward. And we are having people coming to the Holocaust gallery. We have people. What I learned later from the visitors that are coming, especially, I saw the most people who get excited about the Jewish items and about learning about the Judaism and Jews, not the Jews, our religious people. When they see the Jewish items, it's like nostalgia, because they read about it, they know about it, but they've never seen them. So it is very surprising when I see these things, and it shows that the people deeply is different. When there is political platform that paves the way for people to work together, everything is very smooth and open. I can keep giving you more than 19 examples if you want. everything's going in the right direction. And for us, believe me, when we take a decision as a country, we don't take it like that. It was not for short term. It is for the long term decision. All of you know that in war you make enemies. Isn't that true? You make enemies. In peace, we made more enemies. Okay, but that's our strategic decision, because in peace you are thinking forward. You take a side, you are moving forward. In war, people can have different perspectives. Every side, they think that they are the victim. But in peace, it's different. You're taking, a very strategic decision. And we are committed for it, for the best of the region, for the best of our countries, because we believe it is, one region, one destination. And COVID proved to us it is one world, one destination. So I think, we're going to move forward with this one. So this is just a few points I wanted to mention about the hope, and then any question you have, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you for opening and sharing your insight and comments. And I forgot to say at the start, welcome to Montreal, welcome to Quebec, and welcome to Canada. Bienvenue à Montréal, bienvenue au Québec, bienvenue au Canada. I don't think everyone knows here, what's the story? Why are you here? How did the invitation start out, and what made you want to come to Canada, to Montreal particularly, with the Foundation for Genocide Education to talk about the work that you're doing? Could you please tell us about how this event tonight started?
So, as you know, Heidi, she's a leader. So I think, and she's very committed to educate about the Holocaust genocide. And I'm sure, through her team, through Sarah from Dubai, that they heard about the museum and what we do there. So when they reached me at the beginning, when I read the email, because I received many emails about different programs. But when I saw the email, I know that there's something important in it. So immediately we had Zoom, and I saw the commitment, and then I knew that we are sharing the same values. I am not an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm very simple, humble person. I'm like Forrest Gump. I just went to the road, became a champion. But someone like Heidi, when she approached me and she has a program, and I have a museum, I have artifacts, and I have the passion, and I believe that what I'm doing is important. So and the shared goals, it was very important, to do something. So the conversation started from there. And we evolved gradually, and it happened to be that I'm coming to Canada, and I thought I should come there because we want to how can we? I'm here mainly to just know how to cooperate, to establish the mechanism for cooperation between the Foundation of Genocide and the Crossroads of Civilizations Museum. Thanks to Heidi.
Wonderful. That's positive to know that this is not just a one-time thing, but there's going to be collaboration coming out of that. Okay. I would like to ask you. What motivated you to share your private collection of Holocaust artifacts to the general public in the Middle East? What inspired you to do this?
Because nobody else is doing it. So that's number one. And there are multiple reasons for that. I remember when they opened the Holocaust Memorial Museum in the United States. I was inspired by the speech of the rabbi. And at that time, I was in the U.S., not in the museum, but those CNN, it was the news everywhere there. So, and then when he talked about it, it's about the Holocaust. It's not about it's a terrible thing. It's a genocide. It's a crime against humanity, against the Jews. But it's about humanity. And he talked about different genocides and that, and that touched my heart. Even later, and I was very honored. I was one of the first few people who also donated for the museum at that time. Secondly, we know about the Holocaust. And by the year 2021, we see our side, the world is going in a very beautiful direction, in the region. But the rise of anti-Semitism was in other places. And there are certain images that I've seen in TV, especially during the riots in one of the countries, and one of the most places when I saw, not enough 6 million Jews. When I saw that on the T-shirt, abbreviation. And just to go one step back, I had a conversation with my friend, an official from that country, senior official, she's Jewish, and she said, we don't feel safe, I said, doesn't make sense, your president is friends of Israel, and this has changed, this is a past, we are living in a different world right now. She said, no, you don't understand. I said, I don't, I told her you're exaggerating. But when I saw that image, I knew that I was wrong. So I talked to my Israeli friends there, I had 2 of them during COVID working with me. And they said, I told them, what event's coming up? Because we need to do something about it. They say Yom Hashwa, the Holocaust Day is coming, April 8th. I said, okay, let's do something. And so I changed one of the galleries. We decided the commemoration with the Jewish community. We talked to them, and they were very happy. And they said, no, we are a museum. We'll do commemoration. At the same time, we're going to do exhibition. At that night, I was thinking of doing the exhibition, only a temporary exhibition. And then at night, someone who was against it sent me a tweet. But the tweet was from Prime Minister Netanyahu. He said, right now in Dubai, there's commemoration about the Holocaust. I said, wow, we don't have social media. How did he hear about us? And then the next day, another incident happened. Then I decided the next day, I wrote, this exhibition will be a permanent exhibition. So it was the time to talk about it. And I think in the UAE is the best place because we are a small country, but we are one of we like Israel, countries that spearhead development in the region. And many activities, cultural, economic, and socio-political, social culture, we do it in the country. It really, other countries really follow up later. At the beginning, we get criticized, but later, everything happens there. And that was, I think, the right time. And the political platform was very supportive for that one also.
So you showed leadership. You demonstrated a concern for humanity, and you said you saw images of anti-Semitism, not from last century, but this century. So you were inspired to do something about that. I'm wondering, how has your museum been received by the general public in the UAE and across the wider Middle East after you opened it?
Okay. So there's in the UAE, and there is regionally, and there is internationally. So when I did the first Holocaust gallery with my friends, the first gallery and the memorial, I was very surprised. There was a very beautiful article written about it by the government newspaper, our government newspaper. So that was very interesting, because we never invited the media, but it was an article there. It was also in the national. Secondly, another from Dubai government, they came for it. In the country, we had locals, then locals, we have government, then government, everybody was there. But the number was not that high. We had only 70-some people, not more than 73 or 74. And, and the vibe was fine. There was one attack, only through social media. But regionally, there was negativities. As a response to these articles, I was following that. But I liked the trail, from very, very negative, and then how things start to be very, less negative, and then to more neutral. So it opened the subject. We did the second commemoration in May 26. It was not but it was we did to talk about compassion between us and about the Holocaust. That one went very negative in the region at that time because certain political incidents in the region. And the third one, we heard other countries are doing commemoration. And we had 3 other places in the country, in the UAE, doing it. The fourth one, we had more than 200 people. And then gradually it was increasing and people participating from all places. So locally, it's growing very beautifully. Yeah. One thing I want to say about our culture, we are from the side of the Sunni Muslims. So you remember, we had also genocides by colonial times. We have lots of things before. But in our culture, we do not commemorate death. After the 3rd day, and that's it. We don't talk. We don't have commemoration in our sect. So culturally, there is no commemoration. But Holocaust is different. It's not about a war. It's not about invasion. Holocaust, it's a genocide happened, specifically against, a certain race as a race and also as a religion. So it's totally different. So at the same time, there should be people have to understand more, to learn about it more. It's not something, different political because of political gain or economic gain. It's just something beyond that. So how can human, and it happened, unfortunately, in the most civilized country, the most civilized continent. At the time, we are advancement. So here we have, I don't know if there's contradiction between increasing the knowledge, increasing the communication tools, and understanding, and all of these civilized, values, and all of that, and yet human are human. Can go back to commit such crimes. So it was very important to understand it, not religiously, is to understand it, so as you say, to prevent it, so and people to really see what happened. Also, last but not least, the narrative of the Holocaust in the region is very distorted, and it's more influenced politically. So many people, they know about it, but they have some kind of refusal. So it's a time to to break these psychological barriers and have people to just learn about the facts. And through museum is the best platform at that time, as the beginning, to educate about the Holocaust, because people respect museums. and when they see facts, totally different. Because I see the reaction. People excited when they go to other galleries. Once they get into the Holocaust gallery, the mood is like down. It's like they feel, it's different feeling there in the Holocaust gallery. It's a very small gallery, but it's very, very powerful. It changes a lot.
That's fascinating, and so important, the work that you're doing. One of the things we've heard is Heidi and her colleagues are working to really look at the next generation of leaders, the youth in Quebec, the youth in Canada, to try to inculcate the ideas of that hate is wrong and we must fight against prejudice and discrimination. I'm wondering, why do you think, or what do you think, is the importance about educating young people about different cultures and their similarities and their differences, and why is it especially important today in 2023?
As I told you earlier, there are certain things I don't understand, with the increase of knowledge and communication, and there are lots of, platforms to understand each other much better, and yet, we have problem. The first attempt in our, not very far away history of the world, after the Renaissance, I have many evidence in my museum, in different languages, German language and Latin, others. After the Renaissance in Europe, there was the first attempt to bridge between all of us. Book of Hottinger, and there are many books about the Jews and about Islam and others. So I have that in my museum, by the way. That was the first attempt. They say, okay, why we have stereotype about others? Why don't we ask them to tell us how they want to introduce themselves to us? So even after Renaissance, immediately, from 1500, 1600, there was a movement there. And yet, we have not reached there. Now we have much more. In the museum, for me, the most exciting time when I have children come to the museum, when they come there from different races. Of course, most of our schools from different nationalities. We don't have, even the local schools, they're mixed. And we're very proud of that, to hosting all of these nationalities. When the people come there, children come there, usually, most of them, they are foreigners. So they see something from their civilizations, they feel very proud. It boosts their self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-image. At the same time, they see others are also important under the same roof. So here in this, for me, when I see that moment, that excitement, and they see others, and then so we are building in them respect for the future. So we're eliminating discrimination and racism by just having them to see you are important, you are recognized, others also important, they must be acknowledged and recognized. Unlike many museums, because many museums, most museums, especially in our region, it's about, about us or about certain specialty. So when you tell people that you are the best, by default telling others are less. So you're creating this racism by default in generations. So I think through education, at the children's time is very important. And museums mainly are more important for children because they are helping them to start from where others have ended. And with work of Heidi, of your organization here, of the Genocide Foundation, Foundation of the Genocide, I think focusing on the children, you're focusing, you are building you are contributing to their values from childhood, from youngsters. As you know, values and beliefs, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about beliefs and different beliefs and values, whatever people think is right or wrong. It starts from younger age. Once they are older, it's too late to go that. So I think we are coming in the right time and that penetration. But we need to learn how to make for them an excited way to learn.
What I like about the name of your museum is that it's the Crossroads of Civilization, in which you emphasize human civilization, that we're all part of that one human family. I'm wondering, with that message and the work that you do, what can Canadians learn from your work and apply to our society here in North America?
We can learn from each other. We can exchange experience with each other. And we learn a lot from Canada. And if I may just share with you, I was involved in such programs since 2005. Because we know we are one of the fast developing cities in the world and the countries. We are very small, but we are developing because I'm very proud that we come from developing country, that we have the time to be more innovative and work. We cannot just say, we are developed, everything is perfect. Why shall I care? So we learn from that we are losing certain values at the same time because the fast development at the cost of social and society and cultural things. So at that time, also I initiated a program about my homeland to maintain our values and also to educate others about our values and the shared values, and to make sure that to integrate everyone, because we have multiculturalism there. We have people everywhere. And usually foreigners, when they go a place, they stick by themselves, except the Israelis. When they first came, from the beginning, there was very good bridging between Israelis and Emiratis. They did not have the psychological barrier. And, and from the beginning, we are together. So that was very interesting that. In that program, we're saying everyone is important. Everyone in this country is important. And the beauty in our differences. And if everything is the same color, it's not going to be that great. So I think such program helped us a lot to, to bring people together. And I had on weekly 2 programs in Arabic and English. And the weekend I used to take the children from different schools, different background, and every week we take them to different sectors. Financial sector, to history, we take them to, even the air show, we took them there, and we allow them to ask questions to the leaders. The whole idea was to teach the children, your world is bigger than your family and there. What happens, because if I come from, medicine, then I want to be a doctor. Others come from engineering, others religious and that. And they don't see the bigger world. We want to introduce them that the world is bigger than what you have there. And this is a big mosaic, and everyone is important to be part of it. So I worked on that program. Also, we had other programs like the Global Village, to recognizing other cultures is important. I think it's very important to emphasize on this thing, to acknowledge each other. And also, it's very important that I do programs for you and you do programs for me. I will tell you a very beautiful story. A few years ago, before the peace, one video leaked from Israel, to WhatsApp. A lady there, I think I know her name. She's in charge of the Qur'ans in the Israeli library, National Library. And she was very beautifully explaining about the Qur'an, about this historical thing, very beautifully, how they take about different, from Mamluk time. These are the rarest ones. It touched the heart of the people. It touched the heart because people had imagination, the Israelis are destroying our culture, destroying our religion. But when they saw that one, it moved the people. This video went viral for more than 2 months. Only one little video, one action from one person. So whenever you respect other people's religions and culture different, I think it's like an organization. If this section talks beautiful about the other section, that means the organization is healthy. But if each section is competing negatively, that means something wrong here.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. More than this, and maybe go outside your comfort zone. But I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on Heidi and her team are saying that we must make genocide education mandatory in schools, that we have to do that. Do you think that this is something that you support, that genocide education needs to be not just in museums, but also in the curriculum of schools across the world?
Yes, and personally I started in that area, and also I'm very happy that our government also, in the education sector, they are introducing in the curriculum, which means mandatory in the country, and because they think it's very important. People have to respect each other about human rights, because it's all about, we have to really talk about things that to make us care about others and ourselves. There's a very beautiful saying of one of the pastors. When they came for the communists, they said, "I'm not from them." I don't remember the saying. It's a very beautiful saying. So when they came for the Jews, he said, "I'm not a Jewish. I don't care." Until when they came for him, nobody was left to take care of him. So I think that's very important. However, at the same time, I think it's very important to tailor make it for each culture differently. Because I think the problem, if I may be more honest, I see most of the anti-Semitic programs, countering anti-Semitic programs, and most of the countering Holocaust denials come from the mentalities and or the roots are how to speak to Europeans and to others. I think if you come to the Arab world and the Islamic world, you have to know why, if there's denial or refusal, why there's some kind of hatred or something about the Jews. Is it true or not? I don't believe it's true, because I know the culture when we speak about ourselves. Forget about the political narratives in the region, but I know the reality. But the point is, we have to make programs for them. Secondly, if I'm going to do something about the Holocaust education, I will go from the righteous among the nations, from each, and then I'm going to talk about these heroes, why they are heroes, what they have done. I'm going to create stories, most of the heroes come from one country. People want heroes from different countries now. So it's the time to introduce other heroes. Why they are heroes, what they have done, or they saved someone, who's that person, and then to educate about that. When I started talking about educating about the Jews and the Judaism and Jewish life. and then gradually. Then I put photos of people because they look at Israel as a Western country. So no, they are not Westerners. We have photos there of historical place of the Jews from the MENA region, just to remind them the Jews are part of the region. They are not from out of the space. These are very important step by step. Until by the time it reached the Holocaust level, it was more acceptance, different. So I think we have to create these very interesting stories, and then we go back to educate them in a way, because if in the curriculum it can be there, but children, they have different interests, different things. So they might, for the grade, they might just study it. But I think we should go beyond that. Capitalize on that to make the bridging between the Arabs and the Jews. Capitalize on that to educate people properly and without stereotype, without negativities, without anti-Semitic comments about the Jews. So these are very important. I mean, there are lots of creative ways we can do that, work on it. And I think it's very important, and it's a great work. And hopefully, with the foundation, we can have something in Arabic also, and also to speak to the children in their language, and to different nationalities in their language.
So my next question to you was going to be, would you be interested in taking the study guide on genocide produced by Heidi and her team back to the UAE? And it sounds like you are, but it sounds like there would need to be some work to tailor it to a Middle Eastern audience.
From the work of the guidelines, it's like it's educational level. So we can, to introduce it. Definitely, I'm happy to do that, but not alone. With Heidi, maybe we should be there, because we need to make like a workshop, introduction, and what people can see it. It's like we have to do a kind of awareness about the guidelines, because there are lots of other programs, and but this one is very unique because it's from my discussion, from what I've read. It goes the same mentality of what we have, people who took decision in the ministry about educating about the Holocaust. It goes the same line, side by side. So, and I think, we have to make workshops. I prefer we do like train the trainers, the teachers, bring people, talk about it, and then do some kind of brainstorming session, like, group meetings, brainstorming session, and then we go through that. But, it will be very helpful, not just for the museum, talking about the educational level.
I see some really interesting links between Canada and the UAE. As you said, the United Arab Emirates, very international, people from every nationality, religion, and culture in the world, all there in your country. And the same thing is happening here in our country. Canada is one of the most open countries to immigration, and we've become tremendously diverse in the last 20, 30 years, perhaps more than any other country on the planet. So I think there's some real key areas where we could work together and share expertise between our countries.
That's very healthy.
Yeah,
that's a healthy society, and everybody smiles here. Seriously.
Well, you haven't been here in the winter, so that could be. You have to come in January, and we'll see how much everyone's smiling, right? Those who are in Jamaica are smiling, or Mexico, but maybe not those stuck in Montreal in minus 30-degree weather. So I don't really know what time frame we are, if we're right on schedule. I did have 2 questions that were taken in advance from the audience, so I would probably like to go to those. So I have 2 of those, and then maybe we'll do a wrap-up after that. But 2 that were taken from the audience in advance. Someone asked me, I won't say who this person is, I won't put them on the spot, but they said, Your Excellency, your story is so inspiring. One person creating a ripple effect. What can each of us do to counter racism and promote understanding?
I think it's about discipline. You have to work on yourself first, and then the closer people around you. So that's very important. And also, each one of us is a leader. Whether you're brother or sister, or you're a father, or a family. So I think we have to really, as they say, the Americans, you have to talk the walk and walk the talk at the same time. And it has to be very genuine. And we have to we have to help people to see the carrot, not just the stick, the benefit of that for them. These are very important. As you said, the work of one person, as I said, the work of one person from the Israeli library, and the work, here and there. I'll give you a very beautiful example. Although sometimes work of one person, at least someone has to, break the wall, or cross, someone has to be like blinded like me, doesn't see any lines. Someone like that. So you close your eyes and they cross any lines. They're not there. We have to be brave enough for that. The picture here, you saw me here with Aitan. in Auschwitz when we were holding each other's hand, with the Israeli guy with the kippah. Because of this photo, and it was not the message for the Arab world. It was a message for all of us because we were there. You know, it was we were starting the march that day. Because of that photo, I received a message from Israel, and then they said that you are invited to go see His Holiness the Pope to talk only about the Holocaust. For the first time, it was the subject. The agenda is only about the Holocaust. And then they said for me that without you, this will never happen because they saw an Arab and Israeli together. So for people in Europe, they said, you know, what's going on in the world, you know. So that was a big thing there. So, and we went there, you know, and we took pieces, you know, from the Holocaust, about the Holocaust, and they told us these are officially the Museum of the Vatican. You know, we have to communicate. So I'm saying, do something, but you have to communicate. If you do something and nobody knows, you know, this was because of this photo, it was communicated properly internationally. I don't know how many, I think 65 million people saw that one. I don't have any social media, but that's what I was told there. We should not underestimate the work of our work as long as they are genuine. But how about when we institutionalize this one, make it bigger? I think the message would be much stronger.
Thank you. And I'm sitting here with you very privileged for the last 35, 40 minutes to have a conversation with you. And I would define you as a moral entrepreneur. Someone, you've worked in business, but you're also doing something for humanity. You're a moral entrepreneur. And the last question we have from the audience is a question to you. It says, what lessons of leadership can you share with Canadians who are inspired to emulate your important work?
You know, as they say, when they tell me sometimes, I learn something from about leadership. The one word, congruency. If your mind, and your heart are the same, you know, there should be congruency, rapport between those two. If they are on the same line, you're not distracted by other things, other agenda, you'll be successful. You'll be successful. As I said, you know, and when people say to me, oh, you are visionary because you started 8 years before the Abraham Accord. I said, I'm not visionary, but, you know, I do something, but, you know, whatever I think, and I don't have internal conflict. When there's no internal conflict between your emotional intelligence and your intellectual intelligence, you know, your actions will be superb. You know, that's, if I'm going to leave one thing, that's very important. We should not contradict ourselves, and if we have role models, we have to learn from them. But, you know, we have to be ourselves. For example, you know, I can be a person preaching, you know, great values, but I have something I need to make money from it, or I need to just impress. I need to for the show just to become a leader. You will not be successful as someone doing something genuinely, and then it will be multiplied. This will have barakah there. Barakah.
Thank you for sharing those lessons of leadership.
Round of applause. Thank you very much for your time, for your expertise, for your passion, for your similar values to us, and we appreciate so much your time and what you brought to this audience, and thank you both, really, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, everybody.
Are we? I have one more thing, if I may. I want to present gift to Heidi, and if you don't mind, and I will explain about that. I will show you. This is one extra thing about hope. So, what you see here, this is the trophy of our museum. This is the trophy of our museum. This trophy, it is. It's like we call the prayer or the magic bowl. It's in Judaism, and also we have it in Islam. It's the bowl, there's prayer in it, people drink from it, you know, for healing. So this is 2 hours and 10 minutes from my city, and it's an area part of another country right now, and there was a Jewish community there. So this is from 1800 originally. I did a replica. The original one is in my museum. I did a replica from it. So when from Haifa University, the professors, when they looked at it, they said very interesting because usually the Jewish prayer bowls either in Hebrew or Aramaic. This is half in Hebrew, half in Aramaic, and the wording in Arabic. So you have 3 Semitic language in one bowl. And the prayer is very beautiful. It's for healing. And we have, from the Islamic authorities, they send scholars to see the museum, to visit the museum. When they saw this one, they said, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, we had the rabbis used to heal the Muslims with these prayers. And then the Muslims used to pray for the Jews, for healing. And the Prophet had his neighbor was Jewish, and when he was sick, he used to pray for him. So these stories come in the museum. So I made this was a trophy because this shows the harmony, because we talk about belief, religion, and the same prayers exactly in Arabic they translated. It's exactly what we have here. And this is as a symbol, of healing, of harmony. I want to just present to your organization, to Haiti, because this is, this really reflects who we are.
Thank you very much. We're going to treasure this, and we're going to keep this at our office, and every time we look at it, we're going to remember you. But I'm sure there's going to be a big future collaboration together. Thank you very much, everybody.